How's this?
Looks good.
Good? Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Hank Gibson with the Aviators Academy and Texas Top Aviation here at Oshkosh. I'm with Matt Quillen with Cirrus Aircraft, and Austin, Texas is his home, so close by to our home base. And he graciously agreed to spend a little time with us this morning and answer some questions about Cirrus. So the big question is, everybody wants to know, tell us about the G7.
Sure. So G7, hello everybody. Welcome to Oshkosh EAA. G7 came out this year, 2024. It was a surprise launch to even us on the inside sales team. We learned about it maybe a day or two before the rest of the world, believe it or not. But it launched to a super success. So it's been a lot of fun with a lot of interest, obviously. The biggest changes, well, really all the changes other than the paint on the outside, everything was on the interior.
Yeah.
The interior has been completely revamped pretty much from head to toe. The star of the show is the new, based on the Garmin G2000, we call it the Perspective Plus Touch.
Yeah.
So that's a really big deal. That allowed us to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's a pretty high-tech system. Everything is touchscreen with 2 Garmin touchscreen controllers. The system is a little lighter weight, a little bit smaller, so it recessed the panel a little bit. Also lowered the glare shield. So up front, the flight deck or the cockpit just seems like a lot more roomy.
Yeah.
So you feel like you got about 2 inches of leg room going forward and literally about 2 more inches of glare shield when you're landing. So it's really, really cool.
Cool. And it translates well to the Vision Jet too, right?
No question about it. We did that for a lot of reasons, right? A lot of our customers do upgrade from the piston to the Vision Jet, but also it's ubiquitous across our training platform now. Okay, so when people go to Knoxville or even our internal instructors, they can now comfortably go from one to the other, and it's a seamless transition.
Yeah.
It took me maybe 15, 20 hours to get super comfortable with it, but now I love it.
Good.
I love the G6. I love even the Avionics system of yesteryear.
Yeah.
But the G7 is awesome.
Cool. What do you think would be the biggest thing pilots moving up from a G6 or G5 would struggle with the G7?
Struggle, it might not be the right word, but we let them spend a lot of time what we call on a hot bench with a hot box. So if you're coming already from an SR model, even if it was from G1 all the way to now G7, you're going to spend the most time learning the avionics, right? So you'll spend a lot of time on the ground playing with the hot bench or the hot box, just learning what we call knobology, right? So once you get comfortable there, and we also have some online courses. However, where the rubber meets the road, probably even with what you and I have gone through with our recent training, is just getting into the system and playing with it.
Yeah. And the CSIPs out in the field who are going to be teaching the G7, they have to go through the same thing, right?
Correct. So Platinum CSIP like yourself, borrowed my demonstrator for a few hours on the ground, and that is really how you would transition. As long as you're already a CSIP, not Avidyne, but G1000. Okay, if you're a CSIP with the Perspective Plus or Perspective, then you'll come to a ground course to now make yourself G7 qualified.
Gotcha.
Perspective Plus Touch.
Okay. A lot of people ask the price tag, wait time. What are we looking at for the turbo, non-turbo? I mean, even SR20 for the price and the wait time.
Sure, great question. So airplanes that are delivering today are 2024 models, obviously. So the pricing that we have today let's start with the SR20, high 600s, even low 700s, depending on how you spec it out. A non-turbo, maybe 1.1 million-ish. And then if it was a fully loaded turbo, about 1,250. Okay. Now, the orders we're taking today are estimated to deliver in the middle of 2026. Call it late Q2, early Q3 of 2026. We do not have specifications for those airplanes, and thus we don't have pricing for those airplanes. So when someone puts an order in, we're taking a 10% deposit based on today's price, but the price will change before their delivery of their 2026 model. It's just not possible for us to lock in pricing this far out because we don't know what the airplane's going to have on it.
And Cirrus is always innovating too, and something new comes out every year. So it's you can't say, okay, it's just going to be this price.
Correct. I mean, I think we've got maybe 2,500-ish employees for the company now, and probably 10% of those are engineers.
Yeah.
So they're working on something. They don't tell us what they're working on, but they're always working on something.
Yeah. Cool.
So
if a pilot would want to order a G7 and expect delivery in 2026, but they want an airplane now, what's the best option for them? So say they're coming out of like a Cessna or a Cherokee or something smaller that they've learned in, and they want to make the jump to an SR-22.
It's a great question. And obviously we get that call or that request a lot. Obviously, we're going to recommend, if you know you want to go through buying a new airplane and going through the delivery experience, and then just having kind of Cirrus fully on your team and direct access to your sales director. Obviously, we're going to encourage, put an order in. Okay, you're going to tie up 10% for, call it, a year and a half, 2 years.
Right.
But put an order in, and then go find a used or pre-owned bridge airplane. You can go find a G5 or a G6, especially if you're tax motivated in a particular year, which a lot of our customers are. Work with our pre-owned partners, work with partners that can give them access to a pre-owned airplane. Yeah. And then, believe it or not, buy that airplane, and then we can help transition you into the new one and sell the used one before the new one delivers.
Right.
Okay. Right. So we call it a bridge airplane, and I'd say, if I take X number of orders in a particular year, I'd say half of my customers do the bridge airplane strategy.
All right. And it helps them get warmed up in the SR-22, gets them used to the platform, avionics, etc. And that way, when they move into a G7, even if they're flying a Perspective or Perspective Plus, they already at least know the airframe and the engine, and then all they have to learn is the avionics.
Yeah, no question about it. Through the Embark program with great CSIPs like you, they'll buy a used airplane, however they buy it, and then obviously Cirrus will cover the transition training. So just like you said, now they're getting into the platform, they're getting into the Cirrus life, and they're learning the product early on rather than waiting for their new one to deliver, which is a couple years down the road.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, you did hear that correctly. Cirrus pays for flight training. You get up to 3 days free with a used airplane purchase in the Embark program. So keep that in mind.
Amazing program.
Yes. Yeah. Last question here. How's the support from Cirrus for the older generation of Cirruses? We have a lot of G1, G2, G3 Avionics customers, and they're always asking, so how's the CAPS process? What's the support like there? What's the parts support like? Do they have anything to worry about in the future?
I wouldn't say anything to worry about, but through our maintenance network, okay, so our service centers, and we're always adding new service centers. As, airplane number 10,000 is down there, right? So we're adding 600 or 700 new airplanes into the world each year.
Yeah.
So we have to continually expand our service network.
Sure.
But to the crux of your question, those older airplanes are still vital, right, to the ecosystem we have out there. So we're always expanding, and we're going to continue to support those legacy G1s and G2s. No question about it.
Yeah.
So with service center network around the country. So obviously we've got a great one right there in Austin, but I've got a couple of great ones in Houston, San Antonio, down in the valley of Texas. So, and we're always looking for another good one to, plant the flag with. So
cool. Now, and before I let you go, tell me your region that you're over again, so people know who to call.
Yeah, sure. No, thank you for that. So I cover the south half of Texas and the south half of Louisiana. So, my big cities where you see most of the customers are Houston, Austin, San Antonio, down in the valley of Texas, and then moving east into Louisiana. If Louisiana is like a boot, I have the foot part of like South Louisiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette. Okay. So, just a smaller population there. So I've got few airplanes in that territory, but call it the south half of Louisiana, south half of Texas.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks for your time, Matt, and enjoy the rest of your show here.
Yeah, thank you, Hank.